Good morning. You're listening to AVNewsCast.com on NewsTalk 1380.
You're fun.
I guess I'm in a good mood. I just got my cord jiggled.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's
Monday.
A little bit later on, we will have J.D. Kennedy on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's due in the studio in just a minute.
He was a little busy this weekend, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
He was. I'm sure he got some name recognition out of the air show.
Yeah.
You know, there's no question about that. And we'll talk to him about that when he comes on. The Malaysian Prime Minister went live this morning and told all families that had relatives on the plane that holding out hope.
Just stop.
Just stop.
Yeah. And I mean, don't you think that's a little late in the game? What are you doing? What? This is not a disappeared bus.
Well, maybe they thought it was stashed in a garage.
Come on. It's
People, but people tend to hold on to things.
I mean, I get that you tend to hold on to things. I get it. But the government is not supposed to allow you to do that, especially when they know that plane didn't land on the strip to the left.
But
had it gone north, there's a lot of paranoid people up there with a lot of air defense radars.
I get it.
But
if it was hijacked, there's no way. If it was hijacked, they would have hijacked it for the plane, and they would have wanted to pull that plane out in surprise attack. So there's no way any of those passengers would have been alive.
No.
You know?
No.
I saw for the first time, I think on Friday, the American. I know there was 3 Americans, but 2 of them were children, and they had Japanese names or Asian names. And one of them was a man from Texas that worked in China that was took another job and was going to his new location all excited and stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know they were kids.
Yeah, they were kids.
Oh. Yeah, that makes it all
There was a
worse.
lot of kids on that flight. I don't know how many, but there was too many kids. That's way too much.
Well, they've got some ships there, and they're going to be salvaging whatever pieces they saw by satellite. It's nighttime there, so we'll have to wait until tomorrow.
Yeah, they're just going to be going by with those pool cleaning nets and fishing stuff
I still think that they're going to they went to, the shipyard and said, just throw something in the water. Good Lord. They're not going to leave us alone.
Friday, Jonathan Irvin was on KFI with Bill Carroll.
Yes, he was.
His show, he was on for about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Talking about what's been going on. There's been a lot of talk about that on Facebook.
Yeah.
Lancaster's Mayor R.X. Paris posted he called it an apology.
He did?
That's nicely phrased.
I didn't tell me
Called
about it. I
an
didn't
apology.
see it. I didn't read it.
Called it an apology and told everybody, if you read into something more
Come on now.
what it was.
Come on now. He's an attorney.
Then what it was.
Come on now.
That wasn't it.
Stop playing.
Okay, so you're creating something that wasn't there.
I'm sorry you misinterpreted what I said.
Right.
That
I'm
was the
sorry you
apology.
didn't see right through your eyes.
But he still stands by.
Huh?
He still stands by the facts
What was the facts?
that were in there. He stands by what he said.
It was
about
a gang rally?
Jonathan. Yeah, he does.
Come on. See, that's a shame.
All
The
right, so
NAACP should get involved in this.
they're not getting involved
Why wouldn't they get involved?
because they forget it.
What?
No.
That's what they're about.
And you know what, though? A lot of people on Facebook that I read, and I mean 30, 40, 50, 60 posts,
Right.
they were not necessarily calling it a race thing.
What?
And a great
The
majority
undertone
of them,
is immediate. Well,
Yeah,
listen.
absolutely.
a
come
great
on.
majority of them, okay, were looking at it for exactly what it was, okay?
It was a ploy to make people afraid of African American men. Mm-hmm. It was. He knew. Listen.
It was a
Paris
ploy
is
to
no
make people
joke.
afraid to vote for Jonathan Irvin because it's been thrown out there, and now people are insecure.
Yeah, because
Now we're
the same.
Yeah.
If you're walking down the street and you're a white lady and there's a black man coming, you hold
Cross
your
that
purse
road.
a little.
Cross that road.
or lock your door. You know, it's the same thing. He's feeding the flames that we've been trying so hard to put out. I mean, there was a post on Facebook that hit it right on the head when they said the whole reason Trayvon was attacked was the subliminal, fear that people walk around with about African American men, and he was playing on that same line of thought. Mm-hmm. And
Absolutely.
he's no fool. He knows darn well what he was doing. Stop playing. And NAACP, if they're not getting involved, it's a crying shame because that's what they're there for.
Well, they'll get the driveway to their office chained off.
Whatever. I mean, the NAACP went to Selma. Are you kidding? You scared of Rex? Let's just come on now. Turn in your membership cards. If whoever is afraid, they just need to turn in their cards because that's ridiculous.
Well, basically what the NAACP said was what a lot of people have said on Facebook, okay? They didn't see it as being a race thing. It's a political thing. That was a political mailer, and they don't get involved in that.
They get involved in anything that has an undertone that's causing oppression in any form. And that's what the whole premise of the NAACP is. So for you to, don't pick and choose, I don't get involved in politics. Stop. You're scared, and you need to be ashamed of yourself if you're not involved.
Well, Jeff and I covered a lot of things that have gone up here in the Antelope Valley regarding the NAACP, and one in particular was the Department of Justice investigation and the lawsuit that was filed regarding Section 8 in the Antelope Valley. Okay, and the NAACP was one of the backbones behind that lawsuit. And Jeff and I heard a lot of people get up and talk about why they've lost their Section 8. And I kid you not, 9 out of 10 of the people that I heard that day deserved to lose it.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
They deserve to lose it.
What's the problem?
Okay. But in this case, they say, look, this is politics. We're
It's
not
not
getting
politics.
involved.
It's not
okay?
politics. He wasn't bashing him on his political positions. That wasn't what the letter was about at all.
Okay, now, one of the guys that sits on one of the commissions for the city of Lancaster was put on leave over the weekend while the city investigates his comments because he's not supposed to get involved in political things.
And what did he say?
And he did.
What did he say?
He backed the mayor. But he's not supposed to get involved in anything.
But what did he say?
He backed the mayor.
I backed Rex Paris? That ain't
not in those words.
That's what I want to know. What did he say?
Not in those words, but he didn't say whatever you're thinking.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what to be mad about. I'm trying to get you to tell me instead of on the break and then tell me, Angelina, you can't say nothing. That's what he does to me.
Like usual. Yeah.
No, what's funny though is what you just said. You don't know what to get mad about yet.
Yeah.
Right.
You want to get mad.
Yeah.
You're ready to get mad.
Well, because
just
he said
say
he was
something,
on,
Steve, so I can spin it any which way.
Yeah, well, you said he was on Rex Paris' side. I mean, I can't. You're wrong. Rex knew what that rally was about when he wrote the letter. He knew from the beginning to the end what it was all about.
We made a statement towards that rally.
Yeah.
Yeah, a positive statement when the rally was going on, did he not?
Okay.
Yes.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. The letter that he wrote had, at the end of the day, its intention was not to bring light to the rally.
No.
The intention was to make certain that Jonathan Irvin didn't get elected.
Right.
Okay.
And
that's
it might
what his
backfire.
purpose was.
It might backfire on his.
Well,
Show a picture of a bunch of scary black men, angry, scary black men.
Okay.
And they all in a gang. 3, 4 black guys. That's a gang right there, man.
I was watching
purse.
Facebook closely, and I watched it when Mayor Paris posted his apology. Okay.
Real. I wish you.
I watched it then, and I watched how many people jumped immediately on that train to support him. We're not talking about 1, 2, or 3. Okay. We're talking about a lot of people right away. Okay. Jumping on it, and we're not talking about the same person posting 5 times.
What's the defense? Okay? Because all the facts show that everything that he said was not true in the letter. It wasn't a gang rally, and he's not pro-gangs. So what's the defense? What were the people's comments defense? What were they defending? His right to speak? Because that's about it.
They were defending his right to speak and saying, okay, if somebody is supporting gangs or da-da-da-da.
It's him?
No. Okay. But they were, without question, united behind the mayor.
I mean, if somebody was supporting gangs, then yes. Who's not going to be supporting the mayor if somebody is supporting the mayor? I mean, gangs. But that's a lie. Hello?
I didn't see very many negative posts.
Where did they post this
Because
at?
everybody's scared out of their minds.
Yes.
Well, you can't see it probably because you're not friends with the mayor.
Yeah, hello.
Okay.
I requested him, but he probably got his quota.
I'm...
Okay. All right. Well, what we
to
ought
tell
to
people
do...
you're against Pol Pot.
You got to consider the source, too, though,
Okay. What we I just, I brought this up a couple of minutes ago just to throw it out there. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to take up 10 minutes with the whole thing.
Yes, you did.
No, I really didn't.
You know what happens.
No, but what we should do is we should take a break.
Yeah.
And when we come back in 2 minutes, we'll bring on J.D. Kennedy. So stand by. You're listening to AV Newscast on NewsTalk Radio 1380, and we'll be right back.
If you're thinking about getting your backyard in shape for entertaining, there's only one place to shop, and that's Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. At Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale, you'll save up to 70% off retail every day at our factory warehouse showroom. Abadak has everything you need to get your backyard in shape, like 7.5-foot tall, 41,000 BTU, freestanding LPG patio heaters for just $159.99. How about a fully enclosed backyard gazebo? Fire up that barbecue and enjoy a nice meal inside one of our Mandalay, Trinidad, or Mykonos freestanding gazebos. Just $219.97 every day. If you want wholesale prices, come to Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. How about backyard shade or car canopies? You can pick a variety of color choices starting at just $129.97. Stop by Abadak Outdoors in Palmdale. We're located at 38940 Trade Center Drive, 1 block east of 10th Street West. The Abadak Factory Showroom is open from 8 to 4 every day. That's Abadak Outdoors at 38940 Trade Center Drive in Palmdale, where you'll save up to 70% off retail every day. Check us out on the web at abadak.com or give us a call at 661-480-1562.
It's called the Guidance Charter School, and many parents say it's magical. The Guidance Charter School is WAS certified, scored 783 in academic performance, and has an educational curriculum that exceeds what the state of California recommends. The curriculum is enriched through age-appropriate exposure for information technology, arts, foreign language such as Arabic, and physical education. The Guidance Charter School is now going to have a full CIF sports program with soccer, basketball, track, cheerleading, and more. They're an open enrollment school, publicly funded, and have been in business for 12 years, fully approved by Palmdale School District. The Guidance Charter School has small class sizes such as 20 students in grades K through 3, 25 in 4 through 8, and just 30 students in grades 9 through 12. Call the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale today at 661-272-1701. That's the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale, 661-272-1701. And check out their website at thegcs.org, a better high school choice.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on NewsTalk 1380.
Angelina went to the green room.
Yes.
She went somewhere.
She's on an adapter hunt.
Yeah. Over the past week or so, we've had Assemblyman Steve Fox on the show. Mm-hmm. Last week we had Kermit Franklin. Both of them, obviously are running for the Assembly seat. Today we have J.D. Kennedy in the house.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Publicly, I want to say you did a great job on the air show.
Thank you.
Okay.
Attaboy.
You and your whole team. It was great. It was really great. Nice job.
Thank you.
Okay.
It came together.
Yeah, and you made it happen in a short amount of time. Okay, which was great. And news media all over the country was talking about what was going on, which was very cool.
We were the first show back for the Blue Angels since sequestration. 11 months they hadn't
Yeah.
had a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right here in the Aerospace Valley.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. getting away from the air show, let's switch gears and talk about the assembly. All right?
I've got time to campaign now.
You do have time to campaign, okay? And this is the time. This is what you got to do.
Yeah.
Bringing big business to California isn't easy. The state can't seem to get it together when it comes to bringing big business to California.
We can hardly keep our small businesses.
Okay,
Yeah.
correct, okay? So on that note, let me ask you a question. Unemployment in the Antelope Valley is still in double digits, okay? Working parents in California, but we're working parents in the Antelope Valley, earning minimum wage, can't make ends meet at all. Would you support raising minimum wage?
No.
Okay.
I talk to small business owners all the time. Part of my job for the last 4 years, working for the congressman, you got to do outreach to small business. We got some chopping up here.
What,
Yeah.
let him borrow your. What's going on?
If we increase the minimum wage,
It was coming from there. It was coming from
the
there.
employer isn't going to be able to afford to keep the employees they've got. It just increases unemployment even more.
I thought it was going to increase minimum wage for employers that had more than 50 employees. It wasn't for the really traditional small employees. I thought it was really focusing on like big companies.
Well, minimum wage is going up in July.
It's going up to $10 an hour right now, I
Right.
believe.
Right. Well, I think it's going to 9 first.
It goes
Yeah,
to 9
9
and
and
then
then
10.
And then 10. Okay. And Kermit misspoke when he said it was going to 15.
No,
last time.
15 is for federal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
but
didn't
we're not
misspoke.
talking about that.
I know.
Okay. We're not talking about that. And I get it. I've spoken to a lot of small businesses. I know a lot of people that have fast food restaurants in the Antelope Valley that can't afford it. Okay, there's no way. Their bottom line doesn't support it. They want to try to keep as many people employed as possible. But the flip side to that is there's a lot of people out there, a lot of voters out there that say, I need to earn more money. And this is the only job I can get.
Or we could make the state more affordable to live in.
Okay, how do we do that?
Can't keep increasing taxes. Our gas taxes increased again just last year. We added a new lumber tax. Where do we stop?
Yeah, it's like
okay.
we pass a bond measure to take care of thing A. Then that money goes into the general fund. And then down the road again, we pass another bond measure to once again take care of thing A, which that money will go back into the general fund, and thing A never gets fixed, be it potholes or whatnot.
So let's pass
It
another
just-
bond measure.
Yeah, you just tax.
Doesn't make much
tax.
sense.
LA wants to raise their
Make do
sales
with what
tax
you
a
have.
half a cent
Yeah, they're out of control.
so they can come up with $3 billion to fix potholes.
Just legalize marijuana.
Okay.
That'll do it.
What do you think
Kids
about
be
it?
rolling
She brought
it.
it up. Okay.
Be
Kids
rolling
be
in
in
cash.
school.
Since
Yeah.
Angelina brought it up.
Hamstring the
What do
cartels.
you think about legalizing marijuana?
Bad idea.
And
Yeah.
because
All right, we talked to an insurance agent. How are you supposed to provide insurance for an employer who has heavy equipment on their site? Bus drivers, semi-truck drivers. You can't test for it. If you get pulled over,
why can't
or
you test for marijuana?
Because
if you get
anytime
pulled
within
over and
30
you're under the
days, it's
influence,
still in your system.
how's a law enforcement agent supposed to test you on the side of the road for marijuana? They're not
Who
allowed.
else
They're
will
not
do the
allowed.
test?
They're not allowed to pull your blood right now.
What's
They
that?
can't do it.
Gilbert's got something.
They
They
can
can
pull
do
you.
it now.
Yeah, they can.
Starting this year, I guess.
On the side of the road. So we're going to start towing every semi-truck driver who
Wait,
That can't be a
Highway
reason to
Patrol is
not
not
do it.
sticking people with needles.
No, but they'll take you to the
Isn't that
local
new thing
emergency
if they're-
room.
I heard that if that
Yeah, they
did
will.
not pass this year,
They'll
if
take
they're
you somewhere.
suspicious of
Yes.
smoking marijuana, they can test you now.
it doesn't make the roads any safer.
No, but
It's-
neither does
but
alcoholics
neither does
on the road.
alcohol.
Yeah. How many people do you hear of? Buzz driving is buzz driving. I'll give
Yeah.
you that. I'm not going to condone anything. But how many people do you hear of getting drunk? Causing,
And
sliding
driving,
into,
yeah.
killing a
Or taking
station
too much
wagon full of kids
medication
drunk,
and
as opposed
driving.
to.
So your suggestion then would be to make the roads
Legalize
even worse, making our safety even worse by legalizing another.
No,
I don't know.
because you
I don't know how
that's-
much it would. I think we would kill. We would absolutely eviscerate the cartels. We'd
Yes.
wipe out the violence and stuff on there. We might be able to take a trip again to Mexico. We'd be rolling in cash,
Right.
tax money that it's
And they're
okay.
doing
And
it
if you're
anyway.
stupid enough to do the drugs, then and they kill you, they kill you. If you're stupid enough to do it, but
And
we're going to be getting that
If we
tax money.
wouldn't, if we wouldn't wastefully spend all the tax money we've
I
got
agree.
anyway.
I agree. But what do you think is what do you think is more
So
of
let's
a
be
possibility?
more responsible
Rein
and
in,
quit.
what do you
We're
rein in
just-
Sacramento or get a
So in another,
tax revenue?
so in another. Okay, so your suggestion is to legalize marijuana. We're gonna end up with more tax money, and then in 10 years, when we haven't spent any of that money wisely at all, we're gonna be in a situation where, well, cocaine isn't that bad. That what the heck are we doing?
doing the
No,
slippery
how about we
slope?
be a little bit more responsible?
I mean, I'm
When
all
you're-
for
I
think Coke's in kind of
responsibility,
a different
and I'm all
category
for
than-
being more responsible with the money that we do have. But I just don't see marijuana as something.
I am. Don't
that-
get me wrong.
I just-
I'm the farthest person to the right in this room. And
Yeah.
you can ask either one of them on that. But I just
You brought it up, so I just threw it
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, yeah.
One thing that I am noticing right now about JD and that I really appreciate is he's not waffling at all.
no, he's standing his
Okay?
ground.
I can ask him a question, and it's either yes or no. It's not middle of the ground. Another candidate that we had on, it depends, and we'll flip-flop it depending upon whatever. In the Antelope Valley,
Steve is a mess with that.
hold on. In the Antelope Valley, if you take a poll, it's about evenly split when it comes to AB 1266. When you ask people up here, it's 50% this way, 50% this way. I already know what his answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask him anyway. Okay? What would you have voted on AB 1266?
No.
No. So what do you say to the 50% of the people that don't agree with you on that?
We're going to disagree. That's going to be something that I disagree with on
Okay?
that.
See, now
So-
that's what I appreciate.
Really? You appreciate somebody voting
No.
what they want instead of
No.
what the people want?
No.
Well,
what
if
I
it's
do-
50-50, what about the
50-50.
what
no,
about
no,
the
no,
other?
no. I get that, and I'm
No.
I'm with you with that. But this one right here was saying I appreciate him voting what he believes is
No,
correct. And
I listened to somebody.
And I want people to hear us all out and say, listen, I understand that there is 50% that would have voted yes for it, and I'm definitely with you. I say vote heck no, but you have to still take into consideration and say I want to come to terms with voting the majority, which is what Mr. Fox did.
Well, let's take a
What?
look at the language in AB 1266. Though it was a bad answer to the problem.
yeah.
To add into that law that whether you're male or female, to be able to decide which locker room you're going to go to or what team you're going to be able to play on, male or female. Well, I don't have kids yet, but when I do and I've got a daughter, if there's a 16-year-old boy that's showering
Right.
on the girls' team,
Yeah.
well, I disagree.
Yeah.
I'm going to vote no on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Right.
Same with playing football with your daughter that's 16.
Well,
that's
my son played football in the Coastal League.
right, but
he
it's
played
just,
against
it's
a girl from
we
Simi
talked
Valley.
about this. You're supposed to teach your kids to be able to honor the opposite sex.
I agree.
And you really can't say don't beat her walking down the street, but beat her on the field. I mean, you're blurring too many lines, and that's just my opinion. And I get it. Sometimes we have a lot of butchy girls, and if they want to play, they want to play, whatever.
like Johnny
But it
Cash.
shouldn't have to play in the school system.
My son
Play
came to me during that game,
extracurricular.
and he said, "Dad, that's a girl right there, and they're
Yeah.
lining me up right in front of her.
Like he should.
What am I supposed to do?" I said, "Play football." And as soon as that
You
ball
said
went
take
live,
her out. Why didn't you?
Yeah,
say
yeah, that's
that?
what
No,
he said.
hold on, hold
That's
on.
what he said.
You're going to
No.
do your job. You're on the line to block.
No, she threw
You
him on
said
his
take
butt
her out,
first.
son.
She signed up.
And
for
then
that.
I told
She
him, "Go
knows.
take her out."
Right.
Okay, and then he did. Okay,
And
but
then he did.
yeah, not right away. Okay, yeah, but I get that. But there are, here in the Antelope Valley, Palmdale specifically. Okay, there are 12 kids that have designated themselves
Out of-
transgender. Okay,
Out of
18,000.
yeah.
Right.
Okay,
So for that reason, we need some.
We got to
special
change the
backgrounds.
entire
Okay.
world for
This is crazy.
12 kids.
I get that. JD, every candidate, whether it's local or state or national, whatever, okay? Every candidate says, "I want to do something about jobs. I want to do something about employment. I want to do something about safety." That's really broad, and those are really good buzzwords, and it's nice that everybody throws it out.
Let's
okay?
talk about public safety.
Okay.
We've got 2 prisons in this district, and Steve Fox hasn't done anything about AB 109. Matt DeBabney down in San Fernando, Democrat, he's offered a solution to it. Whether you agree with contracting with private prisons or not, most Republicans wouldn't. But the problem is we've got prisoners getting added onto our streets. Doesn't make our streets any safer. He's offered a line item, an amendment to AB 109 to allow the county prisons to start to contract out and release the prisoners that they're getting from the state into private prisons. Where's Steve Fox at on that? Why hasn't he introduced that?
But here's the thing. What's yours? Okay.
I talked about that with you last time I was on the show. That was what I offered. Okay. Since then, Matt DeBabney has introduced that.
Okay. What can and I get what you're saying, okay? But I also know that we are under a federal microscope that we absolutely have to release prisoners.
No, we have to have less than 137% capacity.
Okay.
Right,
or put them somewhere else.
There's bed space available in our private prisons. There's thousands of beds available throughout LA County. Thousands. We're overcrowded in the publicly run prisons, but not in the private prisons.
Right.
That's crazy.
So why not contract out to private?
Yeah.
Because it becomes a money issue, right?
Yeah, it is a money issue. And
the county's got some money.
Okay.
The county could afford that.
The county says they don't have any money. Okay. The county says that they don't have any money.
I find it hard to believe
AB 109 sucks. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I find it hard to believe that the private prisons wouldn't be able to make the money stretch a little better than the government-run prisons are.
Well, maybe if they weren't paying the clerks $30 an hour.
Private companies, majority of them do a better job at running business than the government.
Well, California can't run anything anyway. We can't bring big business here. We can't hold on to big business.
Keep it,
California's lost over 60 major corporations to Texas over the last 24 months.
Look at all these empty windowless big box stores we have all around the valley.
You go to New York 10 years, no tax.
Okay.
New business.
Let's take a break. When we come back, okay, I want to find out, if you're elected, what can you do in a Democratic supermajority? Okay?
When we get back.
When we get back. Stand by. You're listening to the #1 News Talk radio program in the Antelope Valley, AVNewsCast, and we'll be right back.
Hello again. This is Bob Albus of AV Veterans Talk here on News Talk 1380. When you hear this,
Mustang 6 Golf, Foxtrot cleared for takeoff.
That means you're getting ready to fly. And that's just what we do every Friday from 11 a.m. till noon, right between Dennis Miller and Sean Hannity. Each week, we fly right into the subjects that are important to our Valley's veterans and pay tribute to those who have served and sacrificed on behalf of our country. So tune in and join our formation. Check us out on Facebook at AV Veterans or call us at 266-4420. So for now, it's wheels up and blue skies. Bob out.
The preceding was a promotion for a paid program.
Hello, welcome to... oh, hey, Monica, what are you doing here?
Thought I'd drop by to say hello and see how things were doing.
Let me tell you, it's a roller coaster ride. Up 1 minute, down the next. Something's got to give.
Well, I'm telling everybody I know.
I appreciate it. Word of mouth is definitely the best form of advertisement.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's also the slowest form of advertising.
You got that right. That's why I've been looking at doing some radio advertising.
Radio advertising? That sounds like a good idea. Can you afford it?
Well, I met with someone from High Desert Broadcasting the other day, and it's actually more affordable than I thought. Truth is, if I want my business to grow, I just got to invest in it.
If you're looking to grow your business, you may want to consider radio advertising. Radio not only reaches hundreds of thousands of potential customers each week, but it's also more affordable than you may think. To find out how radio advertising can help your business grow, call 947-3107. That's 947-3107. High Desert Broadcasting. We make it happen.
Grandma, read me a story, please.
It breaks my heart to tell my granddaughter no, but I had to give up books last year because of age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. It's a blinding disease that stole my vision and independence. I wish I had seen my eye doctor sooner, because early detection is key to saving your sight. I urge you to call the Foundation Fighting Blindness at 1-800-BLINDNESS for a free packet on preventing and managing AMD. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on News Talk 1380.
JD, let me ask you a question. I hear this from people all the time. And here's what they say. I'm a Republican. I've got a candidate that I really like. But if they make it in there, what can they accomplish? What are they going to do?
Well, I've been talking to several groups, and that's the number one question that comes up. First off, I think a little bit of gridlock up in Sacramento wouldn't be too bad a thing.
There you go.
Let's slow things down just a little bit. Democrats have been able to do everything they've wanted for the last few years, and I think we've had enough of it. You get taxes that just go up and up and up. You get things like AB 109 that's just a bad solution to it's a bad problem that we've got when our prison population's at 138%. Holy cow, we've got to solve it, but just releasing the prisoners back on the street, that's not a good solution to it.
No, and it's proven that it hasn't worked.
Unemployment's going up, taxes going up. We don't have any solution to our water problem, which could be jobs. We've got the plan for the high-speed rail is poorly planned. It's a lot of money that's just going to be wasted. You talk about how to keep jobs here, or how to keep employers here, or bring more here. Well, why don't we use some of the money? Get rid of high-speed rail right now. How about you devise a plan that's going to work and that's good, that doesn't waste so much darn money? How about we go recruit some businesses to come back into California?
Well, a lot of people have been trying to do that. Okay, but California is so regulated. We had just a month ago Tesla, who was looking at California to build a multi-billion-dollar plant employing 5,000 people. Would have been great. Said, you know what, California, there's no way I'm gonna be here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
California, which was really surprising, since we manufacture drones here, why we couldn't get designated as a drone testing site, one of 7 in the nation, we couldn't even get competitive on that. We can't get competitive. We're trying to get competitive in the film industry, but that's been something that's been running away for 15 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay? So California's got its own issues. They've got its own problems, and we can't seem to attract big business here. That's a real problem.
We think that the sunny weather is enough to attract people.
Those were Schwarzenegger's commercials, though.
Yeah.
Okay? It was sunny weather. Come back to California. Mm-hmm. You know, it was.
That's it. That's all
you got to sell what you got.
Okay.
Yeah. For free.
Okay. Other than going up and being the linebacker, being gridlock, what do you think you can do? What can a Republican do up there?
Well, you can come back home and recruit businesses to come to your actual district. You can work with the local governments and try to, if there's state laws that are keeping businesses from moving to the state, you can come back, work with your local governments and say, okay, if you're going to be taxed like crazy on A, B, and C over here at the state level, why don't we work with you at the local level and see what we can make happen to make it affordable and profitable for you to be here in our home district. A Republican in this district isn't going to go up and make the state as a whole outstanding in the first 2 years, and probably in their 12 years that they're allowed to be there. But you can fight and make sure that your actual district does better.
Okay. I get that. And that was a very safe statement. A Republican taking this seat back. Basically what you're saying is, you know what, you can't accomplish a whole lot, okay? But you can.
But you can come home and try to tweak it a little bit so that I can bring some businesses here.
Correct. Okay. And this district,
you can focus
for the
on
last
the area that
34
you can
years,
actually have some control over.
Yeah.
Okay. But this mess didn't happen overnight.
No.
For the last 34 years.
Yeah.
And maybe throw a
This
little
seat-
roadblock up for the stupidity that happens up there so often.
For the last 34 years, this seat was held by a Republican. And this whole mess that we're
Kind
in.
of happened because of that. Huh?
Pardon me?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. She is the Democrat in the room. Okay. Just so you know. Okay.
I'm sure he kind of guessed that one.
Okay.
You can still vote for me, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know I could.
You could.
Mm-hmm.
Will you vote for me?
No.
Oh,
No!
man.
I don't
Flat
know
out,
yet.
no?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
Shot down.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
There are a lot of people in the Antelope Valley that
Connected to
cross their
country.
party lines. Okay. There is no question about it. And I've spoken to many of them. It happened the last assembly race.
Mm-hmm.
It even happened in the last presidential race. And it's going to happen again this year. There's no question about it. The GOP really wants to take their seat back. They really, really want the seat back.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They have to do something completely out the box.
Okay.
What are you going to do out the box?
Well, here's the thing. Here's another question. I'm sure you hear this a lot too. Okay. If the GOP really wants the seat back, why split the ticket and have so many Republicans running rather than put everything behind one?
Well, that's the position of the local
Okay.
party. I have not made the local party happy.
Why? How could
Okay.
you not?
How could
Okay.
Because I'm running.
But you know what I'm saying, okay? And
No,
people
absolutely.
are saying that, okay?
But what our party failed to do last go around, we can split the ticket in the primary. We're going to end up with a Republican going in November. What the party didn't do last time was reunite after the primary. We had two candidates that threw daggers back and forth throughout the primary. It was a very negative campaign on both sides. Ron Smith won in the primary. Tom Lackey did endorse him, but we didn't see anybody reunite and mend those fences that they'd torn apart. And he lost in November. And then we didn't go and count the provisional ballots. Our party got lazy.
Right. Okay.
We can reunite, and Tom and I have talked. We talked at the Ducks Unlimited dinner. He knows that I'm not going negative on him. He said that he's not going to go negative on me.
No,
Whoever wins on June 3rd, on June 4th, we're going to do what we can to make sure that we take it back in November. November is where we've got to come together. We can split the ticket on June 3rd. That's what a primary is for. Guess what? The voters get to decide who they send in November. The voters then in November get to decide who they're sending to Sacramento.
Right.
It's not the party's decision.
Right, and California's got their new primary law, their new rule where it's not just a Republican, it's not a Democrat, it's the top two vote getters go to the next round.
Right.
Okay? That's what happens.
Which is crazy.
You mentioned Tom, you didn't mention Suzette.
Suzette and I are good friends. I'm not going negative on her either.
Well, then what kind of politics are we playing?
Well, you know what?
We
what
say,
kind?
everybody says that, though. Everybody says I'm not going negative. However, I'm just
What you
asking,
will
what
get-
did so-and-so do?
No, what you will get is you'll get everybody going up against the incumbent. Okay?
But they're
that's
come
where
on
the
now,
focus
Steve.
is going to be.
Steve, come on.
What?
You're going to say, what did she do last week?
Who's she? Who's she?
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. I don't have anything.
No, okay.
Stay with me. Stay with me.
All right. To the people out there that are sitting on the fence, they're Republican. They like you. They like Tom. What do you say to them?
I think it's time that our party does something a little bit new, a little different. I've been told by a few people who've been in the game for a lot longer than me that maybe I should start at city council or a school board and work my way up to assembly. And I think that's part of our party's problem. I think that we end up with people in Sacramento that have done just that are just part of the old boys club and don't really have fire in the belly or know how to make stuff happen. If you agree with me and you think it's time that we do something different, that we have a new kind of energy in Sacramento with the Republican Party, check out my website, give me a call. I'd love to have your vote.
If after the primary, it comes out that that Tom is going on the ticket for the next election, you'll put all your weight behind him?
I will put all my weight behind him. Now, I'll be going back to school if I don't win on June 3rd, and I'll go knock on some doors for him, make some phone calls for him. Absolutely.
Well,
That's what you're supposed to do. I get that. That's totally what I would expect.
And it sounds like there's, well, the one thing that you hear from a lot of people is, why split the ticket? And I know you said that's the first thing that you hear from everybody else, okay? But you don't hear this early on candidates saying, hey, if this is what's going to happen, this is where I'm going to go. Most candidates are going to say, it's not going to happen. I'm going to be the one going.
Well, because
I'll tell you that I'm going to win.
That's the way you yeah. You kind of didn't lead him to be able to say that option.
Competition's good, though. We live in America. Capitalism's a good thing. Competition makes you have to fight harder and be better than me, and vice versa.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with having 5 candidates on a ballot for one. We're all going to have to fight for everybody's votes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just up to the primary. You're still going to have your regular choice once it comes time for...
I still think that a party that's supposed to be together and joint should be able to say, you know what, we've talked about it, let us take a vote, and then you represent us. I think that that's one of the things that's going on with the Republican Party, because they just are just too fly-willy, just too crazy.
Okay.
Let's just throwing everything out there, hoping that something sticks.
Well, let's say...
Well, We'll go to Steve.
Okay. Hypothetical, okay? Hypothetical. You get elected. You go to Sacramento. You need to work really hard in the 36th district to make things change. One of the things that you have to do is you got to bring some sense of unity between the two cities.
Oh, God. Now, how you going to
Okay.
do that?
Put that on the man?
Yeah.
How you going to do that, JD?
Yeah, because, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
We know why.
No, because a lot of people, me in particular, a lot of people in the Antelope Valley, I don't buy into this cactus curtain thing.
What do you mean you don't buy into it? You
I
mean you don't like it, right? I mean, because you know it's there.
You know what? I support the Lancaster Chamber as much as I support the Palmdale Chamber. Well, but I sit on the board of the Palmdale Chamber, but maybe not exactly as much.
Right.
But,
Stop talking.
Okay, but I'm saying it, okay? I'm very friendly with Sandy. I love what she's doing at the Lancaster Chamber.
Yeah.
And I've said many
Sandy's
times
great.
on this show that I may not agree with 100% of what Rex Parrish does, but there are a number of things that I do agree with. Okay.
Don't start the conversation to
I'm
where I
not.
have to bring something up.
But one
Because
thing
I don't know why he does that.
But wait a minute. But one thing that does have to change in the Antelope Valley is the two cities need to work very closely together
That's not
to
going
be
to happen
able to
with,
bring
with
big business
T-Rex
to the
in
Antelope
house.
Valley.
That's not going to happen.
Okay.
I don't know why you setting him up.
I'm not.
Because it's not like he's got two reasonable people to deal with. He might have one reasonable person, but he does not have two reasonable people to deal with.
Will you let him speak?
Speak on it, baby.
That's not going to be one of my priorities.
Hello.
My priorities are jobs, long-term solution for the water crisis, protect Prop 13, and bring more money into our public education system without
Jobs
raising
has to be-
taxes.
Okay,
You do
jobs-
that, and if the two cities can't work together with me on that, then I'd be surprised.
Oh, then be surprised.
Well, I might end up being surprised, but that's not something that an assembly member is responsible for. Obviously, assembly members needs to work with both cities and the county, and in this seat with San Bernardino County and Kern County. But Senator Knight's made some attempts to unite the cities, and the cities are working together in some aspects. I don't know that these two mayors ever will.
No,
It
city
predates,
staff can work together.
It predates Paris and Ledford, though. I've known about it the 44 years I've been here.
My only point is to be able to bring big business to the Antelope
It
Valley.
needs to be,
okay,
yeah.
There needs to be some cohesion. The two cities need to be able to work together on certain things because at the end of the day, it's not Palmdale, it's not Lancaster.
It's the region.
It's the Antelope Valley. Okay, and
and if one don't get it, like if it doesn't get to land in Lancaster, then he's gonna fight it and make it not come to the Antelope Valley.
the rail car manufacturer in Palmdale or BYD in Lancaster, it's about bringing jobs to the Antelope Valley. Okay, Dick's Sporting Goods going in at the mall. That's not about Palmdale residents only getting jobs.
No.
It's about people in the Antelope Valley being able to get a damn job.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we've got a problem. California says unemployment is at 8%. It's double digits here.
Well, we've
Here
got a
we
lot
are
of
in
issues
deep trouble.
in this valley.
Okay. And the two cities need to work together on some respects to be able to do that.
Well, and that's when the Economic Alliance. I don't know if you know Kimberly over at the Economic
Sure.
Alliance. That's an organization where both cities support the one organization and they work together with the Economic Alliance to do just what you're saying. When you got companies like B of A and Starwood that are leaving for the reasons that they're leaving, we've got to do everything we can to fill those buildings and bring jobs back to. We're losing 1,600 people are losing their jobs. We got to bring those big businesses back that you're talking about.
Right. B of A was something maybe we couldn't have helped. Starwood was a whole nother thing, and I don't want to get into that. But both of those, it was bad. It was really bad. There are a lot of people out of work, and we need more business in the Antelope Valley. There's no question about it. Okay. In closing, what do you want to say to anybody that's listening right now? You got about 25,000 people listening to you right now, and most of them, which this is really bad, but most of them don't get engaged, don't go out, and don't vote, especially when it's not a national election. it's really hard to get people to get out there and vote. They'll sit at home, they'll complain about the issues, they'll call this candidate or whatever, and they'll say this, but they're not going to get up and vote. Because right now you've got a lot of people saying my one vote isn't going to make a difference. The last election, you saw one vote makes a big difference. Talk to those people.
Well, those people are very, very similar to me. I'd say that 4 years ago is when I started working in the Antelope Valley. I fell in love with the Antelope Valley. We've got a great community here. I live here now. My fiance and I are going to make this our home for years to come. And if you aren't happy with the situation that our state's got us in, if you aren't happy that our community's got double-digit unemployment, and you don't think that your leadership is doing anything about it, I'd love for you to vote for me. I'm new. I'm different. I've got an energy unlike anybody else. I'm going to work harder than anybody else that you've got on the ticket for you in this election, and I'd love to have your vote.
Thanks for taking the time to come on the show. We had you on before March 7th, before the final shakeout, and I actually expected a candidate not to stay in. Okay, and I was very surprised that everybody stayed in. I actually thought there was going to be something different. I think it's going to be interesting. If I had to predict right now, I would say in the primary, no, I'm not calling names, but I would say you're going to have a Democrat and a Republican going to the next election after the primary. Okay, that if I had to guess. Okay, I've talked to a lot of people, and they're Republican. And they're having a really tough time right now. They're having a very hard time. Not having a hard time finding a Republican to vote for. They really want to be able to cast 2 votes.
Yeah.
Okay? They want to be able to cast more votes because they're having a tough time making a decision. That's what I hear. JD, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
I would close with visit my website, kennedyforassembly.com, and find me on facebook.com/kennedyforassembly.
There you go. And that's good. And we're going to sponsor, as we did in the last assembly race, we're going to sponsor a candidate forum. We'll stream it live. We'll get a location. We'll invite all the candidates in, and we'll invite the community. And we had about 150, 200 people at the last one.
Physically present, not counting all the ones watching online as well.
So we'll do that again, and hopefully you'll join us.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to AVNewsCast on NewsTalk Radio 1380, and we'll be right back.
Hi, folks. I'm Chuck Simons, a realtor with Keller Williams. Are you finding yourself buried in your house payment, completely stressed out and don't know what to do? Please listen to what I'm about to tell you. First, understand that you are not the only one that's having problems. Many folks in the Antelope Valley are going through the same thing. What's most important right now is that you take control. Just because you've been turned down for a loan modification or received a notice of default doesn't mean you can't be in control. You own the property still. You can be in control, and I can help. I know how stressful it is. I know what it is to be in the dark on this. I've helped a lot of people in the Antelope Valley, but you have to take action. Call me, Chuck Simons, at 661-350-1006. I want to help you. My team and I will meet with you for free, and we'll go over your options. Don't just sit back, bury your head, and lose your house to foreclosure. I can help you, but you have to call. 661-350-1006. Together, we'll draw up a roadmap to relieving the stress. Just because you're not able to make the payments on your house doesn't mean you don't have options. You do. I can and I will help you negotiate a short sale with your bank. I'll explain all the benefits and how you can rebuild your credit. Call me, Chuck Simons, at 661-350-1006. Let's solve your problems together today.
Chris, you're not acting like a grown-up in our relationship.
Am too.
There's your comic book collection, the race car bed.
I'm young at heart, but I put money into my 401k every paycheck. I'm taking control over my financial life, and that feels pretty grown-up to me.
Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. Are those footy pajamas?
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
AVNewsCast.com on NewsTalk 1380.
Now tomorrow we're going to have Tom Lackey, Mayor Pro Tem City of Palmdale, also running on the Republican end.
Yeah.
For the 36th District Assembly seat. It's interesting because I'll tell you the number one thing I hear about from people is why are we having two candidates run? Why not just one? I hear this from a lot of Republicans.
It's a valid
and
question.
then the next thing I hear from them is I'm having a hard time making a decision. Okay. Now on Wednesday we've got Suzette Martinez on the show as well, so we'll round out the whole assembly ticket between last week and this week. Okay?
Yep.
If you have a question for any of the candidates, you can call us live during the show, and we will put you on.
Yeah.
As long as we can, and it is 266-4420. I know the candidates want to hear what the people out there have to say. At the same time, though, you need to get out and vote. And that's really, if we get 10%, 12% of the voters out there, I'd be very surprised.
Oh, yeah. I'd be shocked.
I'd really, really be surprised.
Well, it's a necessary thing. I mean, the Valley needs to make some significant changes so that we could have a better place to live, and part of that is riding on all of our shoulders, and we need to vote to make that change.
But people don't.
I know.
People don't get out and vote. I really would have liked to have had people running for the Lancaster City Council on the show. But there isn't enough time. Some haven't responded. You can't put one on without the rest. It's a whole deal. So to be fair, we can't. But that would have been interesting. There's no question about it. But and that election is coming up just in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And then that's going to be decided.
Yep.
And
Can't wait.
That's going to be an interesting election in and of itself. And I think you'll see the campaigning getting really, really hard in the next days and weeks to come.
Absolutely.
I think there's no question about that.
A lot of incendiary flyers coming in the mail, I'm sure.
I didn't get one.
You didn't get the... I thought Steve said everybody was going to get one of those Paris flyers.
Well, you're kind of in the fringe.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me be in the fringe.
Yeah, you're kind of out there in the fringe. Very surprised that and people don't call in, but while JD was on, I got 10 text messages from listeners because I put my cell phone number on my Facebook.
Hey.
Okay. 10 messages. Talk to JD about this. Talk to JD.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know what it is? It's jobs, the economy, jobs, the economy,
Yep.
jobs, the economy. They all want an increase in minimum wage.
Really?
Sure, everybody does, but at the same time...
Except the employers.
Yeah, and that's the flip side.
But like I said, I thought it was going to only apply for people that are companies that were more than 50 people.
That's not fair. No, it's across the board.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, okay? I work at the taco place as an example, and we only have 5 employees. So I only get to make $9 an hour.
Yeah.
But my brother works next door at McDonald's.
Yes.
And their minimum wage is different than mine?
Yes.
No.
That's how I thought it was.
What about those red, white, and blue signs that say what the that you have to post in your business up there? It says what the minimum wage is. It doesn't.
Well, right now it's
say
8.
if you only got so
but
many.
Gilbert's got music going,
Oh,
and we're
uh-oh.
done. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with Tom Lackey.